How you doing, Andrew? I think it's who it said. If you're still there. Yep, this is part 2 of a long day here. Hi, Steven. Hey, everybody. Got a shower, feeling much better. Thank you so much for giving me a little time off. I needed it badly. It's snowing where I am. It's so cool. And I took the dog out for a walk in the snow, and she just had the greatest time ever. So, very heartwarming to see a happy dog bouncing around in the snow. Love that. So, yeah, thanks for being. If you were on earlier today, we went for a long time. I think we went from like 1:30 until about 6:15 or something. It was pretty long. Anyway, something walk by behind you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Ruby. Hey, Ruby. Hey, say hi to the group. Say hi. Thank you. Yeah, that's the dog Ruby. She's stealing the cat's food. I'm actually making her food right now. If she would just wait and be patient. Hey there. How's it going? Hey, do me a favor. I see some people are doing it. Can you please tap on my forehead to get the likes up? They're not giving all my followers a notification, unfortunately. So, but we had quite a crowd today. I think at one point we were 650 people, which was really cool. And I think the format of having multiple people on the panel and then having people go back and forth is, pretty good format. So, not every time, but we can do it again if we get enough visitors. A lot of people are probably going to bed right now in different parts of the world. I don't blame them. It's late. Okay, just 1 second. Gotta get the dog something here. Gotta tell you, this dog eats way better than I do. Okay, good. You say you got notified. That's good. I get a lot of people that come on and say I had to search you out to find the live. So, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So yeah, on the back end of a nice lazy holiday, this is a holiday in the United States today. It's called Martin Luther King. Hello, how's it going to you? Nice to see everybody. Just going to give it a few minutes for people to filter in. But if you were on the live earlier today, we did a pretty long one, and we had some interesting conversations. There was this one guy that came up. I don't know if it was somebody just trolling me or whatever, but they claim that this is kind of funny actually, that the Zionist movement started from a person by the name of Dr. Zionist in 1948, which they must have been trolling me. But they said it with a dead seriousness where, they probably were just messing with me. But it's funny when you get that kind of stuff. I mean, it's entertaining, right? Very good. Yeah, funny stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. The good news, I'm meeting some good people that want to come up on like a bigger panel. In fact, I want to share this with the group. I'll just give you a quick intro. So I ran into at the DC protest someone who I've been following loosely for some time. She's an independent candidate for Senate named Diane Sayre. And I just stopped by and said hi to her and just said, I enjoy watching you, what you talk about. So she just called me like right after the live edit. She just called me out of the blue. And we had a nice 30-minute conversation. She was driving back from something in New York. She lives up in New York. Anyway, I want to talk about her at some point because I think, there's never going to be a candidate for politicians that you're going to agree with everything, right? But what you want is somebody who's way better than the people that are in there now, right? That's a step in the right direction. And I've talked, if you've listened to me for some time, about I think that voting in terms of fixing everything, quote unquote, is going to be, unlikely. But anytime you can get somebody better in there to keep the conversation going and advocate for people and advocate for peace and stuff like that, that's the kind of person that Diane is. And I can point you to some of her YouTube stuff. I just finished watching a video of hers where she does like a 45-minute talk to a group about a month ago. And you would love her. I mean, she is just right down the middle. She talks about this issue and she's, against all the craziness. The world's gone mad, basically. Her biggest immediate concern, as is mine, and it makes sense, right? The number one threat that faces us is the potential of a world war that could break out and become nuclear. Let's face it, that's obviously the biggest short-term risk to humanity and the whole planet. So she's a very peace-minded person. I don't know if anybody went to the peace rally when the Ukraine war broke out, but I was at that in Washington, D.C. She was there too. And so people like that, those are the people that I want to have in elected office. We may differ on some issues, but I think peace is a good thing to have as a common bond. Stop fighting all these damn wars. Stop supporting. Her name is Diane Sayre, S-A-R-E. Now, this may put some people off, but I don't really care about this because you're never going to get somebody who agrees with you. She comes from, hey, Ella Baker, it's good to see you. Thanks for supporting me. I'm hanging in there. Had a pretty fun day today. I was expecting to go live for like an hour, and Mr. Me, I went for like 4.5 hours. We did. It was fun though. It was a good live. Towards the end, I was getting a little bit. I had to get take a break. But anyway, so Diane Sayre, she's formerly a supporter of Lyndon LaRouche. If you don't know who Lyndon LaRouche was, he was a politician that ran for president back, I think, in the late 70s, early 80s. And, he got a good number of the vote. He was somewhat popular, although controversial. And some of the tenets of the, the platform, or what you want to call it, that the LaRouche organization stands for, I don't agree with all of it. Hey, Maz, like anything else, you're not going to agree with everything, right? They have some development objectives that I think, if the environmental concerns of some of the scientists are accurate, some of those goals may not be as intelligent but they would cause, prosperity for humans, right? So, but the way I think is not just from human standpoint. I think from, every part of life. At least we should, I think. I have to microwave something, excuse me. So, let's see, let's put that on for 3 hours. 3:35. There we go. So, if that's too noisy, by the way, let me know. I can move away from the microwave. Probably should stay away anyway, right? It's no microwave. So if you check out, her name is Diane Sayre, S-A-R-E. Just look her up. I mean, listen to one of her talks on YouTube. She's a nice person, and she obviously sees the problems the way we've been talking about them. The whole system's bought off, and everyone's stuck in this bad system. And when you're an independent candidate, you have a very hard uphill climb. The parties don't help you out at all. They go out of the way to keep you off the ballot. They make all these hurdles you have to go through. You get no airtime. You get no corporate money, no sponsorships, no nothing. And it's a very, very hard uphill climb to be somebody who's working independently. So I'm going to try to help her as best I can. Maybe we'll have a conversation here one time if people want that. And you'll get to hear for yourself. Make your own mind up. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, obviously. I'm just sharing with people what I find better than what we have now. Hey, Ruby, come on, get back. Damn it, dog. That dog takes everything. He takes the cat's food. Look, Ruby, see? See, he's got the cat's food. Damn it. Dog does that all the time. So yeah, there's that. Listen, we have big problems. I'm sure you know, we have all sorts of problems, between our national debt and our huge overbloated military/defense systems and our allegiances with all the bad people in the world, just right on down the line. We have financial problems at home. We have people that are in a lot of debt. We have people that are homeless, not that everything's horrible, but we have a lot of challenges, right? And so there's only going to be one thing, and that we have to find ways to make it better, right? And I don't know how. I've not heard of Brittany Jones for president. Somebody says, what's happening with Iran? Well, Sarah, can you be more specific when you say, like, what's happening? What is the what part? Or what do you mean by that question? Somebody says, yeah, you're live again. Listen, I normally do Monday nights, and I promised I'd do one. We're only going to go till 10 o'clock, so tonight's going to be, I got to go to bed because I get up early. I have to work tomorrow. So anyway, but yeah, we'll go until 10 o'clock and maybe have some guests on if we can, which would be cool. Or I can just yammer and answer questions. But, I don't know who that person Brittany is. Brittany Jones, you said? Yeah, Brittany Jones for president. We can Google it and look it up. You want to come up and tell me anything about them? I've heard some people talking about another candidate that I don't remember her name. It's a female. So, I mean, let's face it. It's very hard as an independent to run for president. It's very hard. And, the money, you need advertising dollars, you need these corporate relationships, you need the high net worth backers and the whole industrial state. It's really hard, It's such an important position that they're not going to let just anybody get in, right? Of course. So, yeah, that's the case. I've had people say, why don't you run for office? Why don't you run for president or run for... Listen, a lot of people do that, right? And they just flounder and, people like me get eaten for lunch. Ruby, hey, get your ass out of here. Go. Anyway, sorry about that. The dog's always trying to eat everything that I cook. If I cook something for myself, she's all over it. So yeah, we'll give it a few more minutes before people filter in. Somebody said, somebody just mentioned you would like Shahid Bolson's analysis. I love Shahid Bolson. I came across his work maybe 2 months ago. Wasn't familiar with him, and he has a YouTube channel called Middle Nation. And if you haven't seen Shahid Bolson, go check him out. He's amazing. He's very smart. He's incredibly well educated. He's very articulate, and he's like a poet. He's like a poet with how he talks about stuff. He's pretty amazing. So, and he's Muslim. So I know there's some women that say they don't like him because he believes in some of the tenets of Islam that some of the Western women don't find as flattering to their point of view. I understand that. But good morning from Bali, Indonesia. Yeah, I remember I saw the tsunami that took place in Bali. They made a movie about it. And boy, I tell you what, that was massive. So hopefully you weren't affected by that. But if you were, I'm sorry. Some of these nations in the Ring of Fire, where all these, the Earth's crust is all shifting all the time, which if you don't know where that is, it's a series of islands like Indonesia, Malaysia, Borneo, places like that. They have all sorts of earthquakes because they're in this very tectonically shifting place called the Ring of Fire. And when it does that, it shifts and the water gets kind of jolted, and then it creates these massive waves that come in and out, and just like we saw in Sendai, Japan, after the Fukushima, stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy. By the way, did you see the tornadoes that ripped through Tennessee today? Did you see videos of that, or the flooding that went on in the Panhandle in Florida? I mean, this is some crazy weather. This is stuff I've never seen before in my lifetime. Like tornadoes ripping through like this. It's just unbelievable. It was the most intense I've ever seen. We have somebody in the queue. It says heart PJ flag. So yeah, I'll get you in here in a second, PJ. And or I can bring you up and we can just keep you on hold for a sec. We'll talk in a minute or two. I want to hopefully build a guest list. By the way, if you're somebody who's tuning in, I know we have only 137 people. My eyesight sucks close up. If you're somebody who supports Israel or you have a different point of view than I have, which is fine, please come up and let's talk. I'm not going to make you feel bad or talk down to you. I did a good bit of listening. If you were on the panel earlier, if you listened earlier today, I mean, in a painfully difficult way, I listened in for a while. And people were like, get rid of that person. Get them off. No more. I can't take it. And everyone says, how can you be so patient? I kind of think you need to listen. Sometimes people can talk themselves into a corner, right? It's kind of funny to watch them say stuff, but it was pretty painful earlier, I must admit. It was painful. Somebody says, with all the bombings and nuclear tests, not surprised. I don't think that was the cause of it there. This is a geological phenomenon with where the Earth's crust and the mantle come together in such a way that it's just very volatile. And, it's just a place where a lot of that stuff happens. There are other places, like there's the San Andreas Fault, which is in California and Oregon. And by the way, they think that that's overdue for a seismic event. And that could completely shatter the west coast of the United States. I mean, it could literally break off, which is pretty crazy. What's the topic today? Everyone wants to know the topic. If you've not watched me before, just to let you know, Cece, I rarely have like a driven topic. I'm very flexible and I kind of just improvise as I go through. Sometimes news comes up and we talk about things that are newsworthy for the day. We talk some about of course, what happened with the International Court of Justice and stuff. Generally what we do is we bring up guests and we have comments and the questions and I answer some of that and then it just kind of goes where it goes. And I kind of prefer that to a very regimented style because, I don't know, it's kind of more fun just to kind of do it off the cuff and it's not so scripted, stuff like that. But if you have to have a topic, the topic would be how crazy the world is and what we can do to fix it. That's tonight's topic. And by the end of the next hour and a half, we're going to have all the answers and life is going to be good. I promise you. Yeah, I can lie too, right? The best of them. If you could. Somebody says here, Iran strikes bases in Iraq. We're talking about the U.S. military bases. That's an interesting story. I'll look that up on the computer. For those of you who don't know also, if you don't watch me much, I always say I'm not a news guy. Like I'm not glued to the Associated Press feed and getting information and then breaking the stories. There are people on here that do that. They do a great job of it, and people on YouTube that I like to watch. I go there to get my news, but that's not me. I'm more of a commentator. And I guess that's the lazy man's version of politics. I just don't have, there are other people that are so good at it. I mean, why should I throw myself into that same place where I'm not as good, right? So tonight's meal, again, is more of the chickpeas and rice, along with some broccoli, for those of you who give a damn. Most of you don't. London is falling apart. Can you clarify what you mean by that, SR? I know that there are all sorts of issues with things like immigration and I've heard some people complaining about the fact that the Tories, which is the Conservative Party, are running the government. And, they're not happy that Rishi Sunak, who's the prime minister, is supporting the U.S. and the attacks against Yemen, et cetera, et cetera. What I'll do is once I get somebody talking, I'll tilt my camera and take a bite or two because I can always reheat it. But yeah, I'm always eating late too. That's not a good thing. I just get so damn busy with stuff. So if anybody else wants to come up, please join us. We'd love to have you up. And let me see some of the people here. Let me see if I can get some people to come here. And I don't know if this brings people up. There's TS. I think I'm inviting people to come on the panel by doing this. I hope so. I'm always for people getting over the hump and just trying it, because the cool thing is once you do it the first time, you're not so, just talking like you're talking to a friend or somebody you meet at the store or whatever. It's nothing different. It seems overwhelming, but I was really afraid to do this too. When I first started doing this, it was like just over 3 months ago, and I'd never looked at a camera before and talked for an hour or even 5 minutes. But everything's like that. You just got to try it. It's like water skiing or parachuting or whatever. Can I join with under 2 PP followers? My understanding is that in order to talk on the panel, you have to have, I think, 200 followers in order to do that. I'm guessing. Which I don't know why they do that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why? Who cares if you have 200 or not? There are videos on YouTube that says how you can go live without 200. Maybe you can watch that. And I've never watched them because I've always had more than 200 at least. By the way, that's not true though. When I first had my account for the first 2 weeks on TikTok back in October, the count came down. It got just deleted. It was like, when you first look at your phone, when you first install TikTok, the app, that's what it looked like. I had 65,000 followers and then boom, nothing. I was like, what? So then I did have less than 200. I remember the first 2 days back, I was like, okay, can I get to 3 people? Okay, I got 5. It was like so slow, and then it just picked up again. And then after 2 more weeks, the same thing happened again. The difference is the second time I had a backup account. And so I had been asking people to follow that. And that's what you need to have, is a backup account because you never know what's going to happen here. So yeah, it sucks when you get low, but yeah, that's why having, I don't know how you get followers like that. What do you have to do? I guess, you can create a video. You can actually just put up a picture with some music, or maybe put somebody else's video, like a duet, and you don't have to show your face. You just do a few of those and you get some followers and stuff. And, it's not that hard, I guess. Anyway, so we have about 137 people here. Let's do this. Let's bring up PJ and see what PJ has to say, and then I'll get to bite of my food in while PJ's talking. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Hello? I think I just unmuted you. Maybe
Can you
they're
hear me
away
now?
from their phone or whatever. All right, well, I'll just leave you muted then, PJ. I'll try you again in a few minutes here. Sounds fine. Isn't China controlling TikTok? Well, that's what the allegations are. But I don't know if China, who's speaking out publicly against what we're seeing in Gaza, doesn't seem to be pulling the strings right now with regard to the content moderation. Oh, someone says they could hear her.
Can you hear
Okay,
me now?
I can't hear. Let me see if my volume's turned down. Oh, you know what it is? I think. Sorry about that.
Hello?
If I mess that up, sometimes I have my Bluetooth turned on. Let's try it again. Please speak, PJ, and I'll see if I can hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
I still don't hear. You know what I might have to do if I can't hear the guests, because I have my volume turned all the way up. I might have to end the live and then come back in so it kind of resets the system. Because I'd love to respond to what she's saying, but I can't hear her. I'm glad the audience can hear her, but let me see. Let me do this. Let me take you down and then have you come back up and see if that makes a difference first. That's easier. So please come back into the guest queue, and then we'll do it one more time and see if that works. If it doesn't, I'll have to restart the live. Here's somebody named Lim that's coming up. Let's see if that works. One more time. If it doesn't work, we'll restart. It happens. Hello, are you there?
Having.
Yeah, I can't hear the person either. Okay, here's what we're going to do. For those of you who are waiting in the queue, come right back. I'm going to just restart the live. I'll be back up in like a minute, okay? I'll do that. Okay, sorry about the inconvenience.
Okay.